Good morning, everybody. So today I am going to do videos of the two assignments today. I'm going to work through the study guide, pages, and then you will be expected to complete the second set of 2 pages. All right, parts of a circle. A circle consists of all points in a plane, so we all know what a circle looks like, hopefully at this point. Here's my circle. When we label circles, we always label them by their center, so this is circle O. We have radii. Remember, a radius, plural is radii, goes from the center out. So there's 1, 2, 3 of them. We have a diameter. Diameter goes from side to side, but has to go through the center. And then we have chords. So chords are from side to side. They can go through the center, so there's 2 different types of chords. Okay. So if we look at this first example, circle, we label it by the center, so call it circles O. Radii from O to A, B to O, O to C, and O to D. Okay. They labeled them, they used the outside letter first. That's okay. O to D is the same thing as DO. Chords, so it has to go from side to side. So A to B. And we also have C to D down here. And then diameter is a specific chord that goes through the center, so my diameter is AB. All right, our examples. Name my circle. So we're going to label it by the center point. Notice that my center point is R. So we're going to label this circle R. For short, you might see it called circle. We always put a little dot in there, R. So we know it's a circle, not an O or a 0. All right. Radii, so remember from center to the outside. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to call these RA, RX, RY, and RB. Now, again, you could do it AR. AR and RA are the same thing because they're just segments. Notice that above each one, I am putting a little segment symbol to tell us that it is a segment. Chords. So chords have to go from one side of the circle to the other. So I have 1 chord here, 2 chords, 3, and 4. So they have to go from one side of the circle to the other. So I have A, B, X, Y. I have A, X, and B, Y. Do not forget these 2. Even though they're really short, they do go from one side of the circle to the other. Diameters. So diameter is a chord that has to go through the center. These 2 chords also go through the center. So I had A, B, and X, Y. The questions, we're going to find some answers. So if AR, or find AR if AB is 18. So if my whole thing is 18, that's my diameter. Remember, my radius is half of that. Half of 18 means that AR is going to be 9 millimeters. Okay. Question 6 says find AR and AB if RY is 10. So this is a radius, which means this will be 10, this will be 10, and this will be 10, because in a circle, all the radii are the same. So AR equals 10, and AB, if I look at AB, it's a whole length. 10 plus 10 is 20. Make sure you are reading the question to answer correctly. And the last one says, is AB congruent to XY? And yes, they are, because they are both diameters. And in a circle, the diameters are all going to be congruent no matter which way I draw them or where I draw them. All right. Second page of this. Circumference. Remember, circumference is the distance around the circle. So circumference is basically the perimeter. So in every other shape we call it a perimeter, and a circle we call it a circumference. Okay, we need to make sure we know our formulas for circumference. Oops, that's hard to see. So circumference equals pi d or 2 pi r, either way. A lot of times I use 2 pi r just because that's what I'm used to. Okay, so if I look at this example right here, my radius is 13. We just plug that in for my r. So it says 2 times pi times my radius, which we now know is 13. And then we're going to plug in our calculator. Remember, we can use Desmos for our calculator. It will work. Okay. If you don't have a calculator at home, feel free to pull up Desmos. I forgot to pull it up earlier. Have it now. Okay. So we look at our examples. So the first one says find the circumference. So we have 2 times pi times my radius is 8. For these, we are going to actually use the pi symbol. So if I go to Desmos, we're going to plug in 2. Pi is down here at the bottom if you have your keyboard up. And 8. So 2 pi 8 is 50.2654. It says round to the nearest hundredth. Remember, rounding to the nearest hundredth is 2 decimal places. So 50.27. We make sure we have our units, centimeters. 2. If we were to complete that one, 2 times pi. Oops, I guess I didn't need the parentheses, but that's okay. Times 3 square root of 2. So we're going to plug it in. 2 pi 3 square root of 2. And we find out that my answer is 26.66. Of course, we're going to use our units, feet. If I were to complete something like number 4, notice number 4 gives diameter. So you have 2 options. You can either find the radius, which if the diameter is 10, the radius is 5, or you can use the formula pi d. So just so you can see, pi d, plug in our calculators, pi 10 rounded is going to give me 31.42. Okay. I think we're pretty comfortable with circumference. I'm going to move on to this bottom half down here. Nope, no, it's not going to go away. Go away. All right. So it says the radius, diameter, or circumference of a circle is given. Find, there we go. Find the missing measures of the nearest hundredth. Okay, so these ones are just straightforward. It gives you the radius, you're going to find the diameter, and the circumference. This one, for example, you have the diameter, you're going to find the radius, and the circumference. Okay, and you're going to round everything to the nearest hundredth. So if we do number 7, so if my radius is 4, to find my diameter, I double it. So it's 8 centimeters. To find my circumference, we're going to do 2 pi times my radius. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the back. She's scared of everything. I get 25.13, and of course, centimeters. So same thing, this one you just find in the extra diameter radius depending on what's going on. Number 8, I give you the diameter. So to get from the diameter to the radius, you're going to divide it by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3 feet. To find the circumference, I'm going to run out of room over here so we can hold it. Oh. All right, come on. I'm going to have pi times my diameter. So I'm going to have pi times 6, which is 18.85. Okay. Same idea with 9 and 10. All right, do 2 more down here. So it says find the exact circumference. So in this picture right here for number 11, notice that they don't give you the radius. or the diameter. So here is my diameter. We need to find it. If you notice, we have a right triangle here. So we can use Pythagorean theorem of 5 squared plus 12 squared equals my diameter squared to find my diameter. So 5 squared is 25 plus 12 squared is 144 equals d squared. 25 plus 144 is 169. And then to find just d, we're going to take the square root. So d equals 13. All right, it tells me to find the exact circumference. So when I find the exact circumference, I'm going to plug in 2, or I don't even need the 2 because I'm going to do pi times my diameter. If I plug in pi times my diameter, it's going to give me a decimal. Exact is not a decimal. Okay, there's no way you can literally write out every decimal there's going to be. So my exact answer for this is just going to be 13 pi. You cannot get more exact than that. There's nothing more you can do. Leave these in terms of pi when it says exact. All right, we'll do one last one like this. All right, so again, we notice that we have a right triangle, and the side that I'm looking for is not given. So I have the square root of 2 squared plus the square root of 2 squared equals my diameter squared. Square root of 2 squared is 2, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Square root of 2 squared is 2. If you don't know that, plug it in your calculator. It's okay. 2 plus 2 is 4. To solve for my diameter, I'm going to take the square root, and my diameter equals 2. All right, to find my circumference, pi times my diameter. Of course, if I plug that in my calculator, I'm going to get a decimal. So as exact as you can get it, it's going to be just to leave it as 2 pi. Okay. All right, go back and look at any of these questions, and then you are expected to complete the next 2 pages. So it says skills practice and practice. If you have any questions, send me a message, and I will be online today from 9 to 10 and from 1 to 2.